as well.
Yep.
Christine, could you say a few more words with your
Saying
mic
a few more
wherever
words.
you're?
I think it's too loud. It feels too
Well,
loud, or unless this is too
that
loud.
might be just your
Yeah,
headphones.
probably.
Cause say something else.
Say something else,
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
something. I don't know what else to say.
All right, we'll roll with that. That I can always fuck with it in post.
Okay.
My God, we do a lot of things through OBS now, Manny,
Uh-huh.
and that cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and roll that intro video, guys. Welcome to Who, the Daily Cup of Genre, the show that is supposed to be daily, and we're trying to get it back there, but it's the LRM Online Genreverse podcast networks, everything show and geek pop culture entertainment news, sponsored by the good folks over at Grow Generation. Be sure to check out the podcast network wherever you get that, the LRM YouTube channel where we are also at on video, and of course lrmonline.com and genreverse.com. And today's a very great special day because the one of the former co-hosts of what used to be LR Mornings became the Daily Cup of Genre, and Manny is back with us today for a special guest spot. What's up, Manny? How's it going, bud?
Just living life. Sometimes you gotta change things up to move ahead and take a break out away from things,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it paid off. I have a new day job that I love, and just trying just it's gonna allow me to do a lot more for LRM, and
Cool.
possibly be on here a little bit more. So that's what's really exciting about it, is that I got all my mornings free now. Might be a little bit more tired, but it's
Oh yeah.
at
Yeah,
least I
that's
have
cool, man.
a little bit more goal oriented at work.
Mm.
Yeah, indeed, and your new job is in a similar field, dealing with at least media, not
Hmm.
necessarily entertainment, though. There are entertainment segments and entertaining segments, but regardless, man, congratulations on all of that. We've definitely missed you here. We know we've actually tried a couple of times to schedule you to be on, to discuss other news things, but other life got in the way, or you just decided you were sleep was more important.
Yeah, if there's one thing that we need to preach, and that's actually I've talked to a couple of people about that as well in several interviews, is the importance of self-care,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
realizing sometimes that, yeah, you want to reach certain goals, you want to do certain things for other people also, but if you do not take care of yourself first, you can't take care of anybody else. So
No.
it's okay to take a step back sometimes, and chill the freak out.
Indeed, man. So, just kind of catching up with you. What have you seen recently? What are you watching right now? What's
Yeah.
the number one thing you're looking forward to coming out before we get into these numbers and an article you wrote over the weekend?
Well, the best movie I saw this weekend was Licorice Pizza. Uh,
Cool.
that movie was it's over 2 hours long. It could have been 5 hours, but I was so into the characters, so into their kind of zany, kind of teenage love stories, and it's shot beautifully, just kind of really old school camera work. And it honestly just a really really good time. There's not a lot of films that are made that way anymore, and it really made for a good time in theaters. It's one of those indie films too that if you look at it and it's not your cup of tea, you're probably going to skip, because it does have a couple big names. Sean Penn's in it, Bradley
Mhm.
Cooper. They have little guest spots here and there, but overall, just really like that kind of gritty indie feel that sometimes will later become a cult classic, that you like, where did this movie come from? Like, that's what it is. And right now it's still being in theaters. It's something that I think people should check out. It's just a good time. It's just
Cool.
I mean, just good. I don't know how else to describe it. Also,
It's like a dramatization of a an actual person that was in the Hollywood background. Like started out in hairdressing or something like that, if I remember.
no, it's
No.
just no. It's just teenage. It's like it's a 15-year-old entrepreneur that
What movie am I
starts
thinking
different
of then?
businesses and whatnot, and
Oh well,
it's just
whatever.
fun. And then also, I think the other thing I saw was um, Nightmare Alley, Guillermo del Toro's
Mhm.
new film. That was a little long, but if you like his films, you're gonna like it. And the thing is, I love Guillermo del Toro's films. He's just his visuals are so impressive all the time. And this is kind of a carny story about a guy who becomes a mentalist, and kind of him just kind of psyching himself out, and you know how that stories like that goes. But I'm always such like, I fall for stories like that about carnivals and circuses and things like that. Catch me watching Water for Elephants every now and then. When I found out that Robert Pattinson was more than just a vampire and he was actually probably a good actor.
More than sparkles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst thing I've seen lately. I'm gonna say worst because Jesus Christ, we got an hour into this movie and went, why? What? Why? Huh? Um, Matrix Resurrection was a complete waste of time.
Oh,
Yeah,
we haven't
man.
seen it yet. I
Yeah.
had no
Boom,
faith
boom.
in it. Not gonna lie.
I was kind of meh with it, and I was like,
Like,
okay.
yeah, it was a yeah, an hour into it, and we're like, is this kind of like a fan kind of thing? It felt, it just, why? Like, why am I like, there's, and the thing is that we have such a long list of films that we're trying to go watch again, that it
Hmm.
was it was kind of annoying because we could have watched 3 or 4 other movies instead. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. And I don't know. But today is a really important day for me as far as what I do traditionally every the week before New Year's. Usually I do it in 1 or 2 days. This week I've decided to do it in 1 week. Is and now it actually has a purpose because I want to finish by the first. Harry Potter. I
Oh
will start.
yeah,
Yeah.
Christine was just talking about that. Almost
Uh,
said Courtney, but she's also a big Harry
I've
Potter
called
fan as
myself
well.
Courtney, so don't
That's
worry
my
about it.
sister's name. Trust it's
oh,
not
okay.
that.
I was like, that's weird.
It
That's
happens.
weird. uh, yeah. So I'll start to. I'll start today, and we need to finish by Friday night, which means Friday afternoon because I work Friday night, and then on Saturday morning on the first, HBO has that special, which is Return to Hogwarts, which is exciting because usually it's just, oh yeah, watch the movies again, but now there's a prize at the end. So
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah,
mhm.
I've been looking forward to it as well. I normally don't stay up, for New Year's. It's like, what's the point? It's just us. We're not going anywhere. So,
Throw
I
confetti at
actually,
Kyle's face.
oh, there you go. Yeah. I'd like have it like in the like pocket sand.
Pocket
Yeah.
confetti.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah.
What was that we were watching where they just kept throwing sand in each other's faces?
I
Was that an
don't
anime or what was it? Wheel of Time?
I don't know. We watch so much
I don't
right now.
know.
It's all
There was
starting to bleed together.
like no joke. Like it was jobless reincarnation. That's what it
Oh,
was. She
okay.
kept throwing fucking pocket sand at people.
Yeah. By the way, we're still waiting for the English dub to come out. It's starting to get annoying
Yeah.
for the next episode, but yeah, we've been enjoying that.
Yeah, lots of things, but we got something cool to go over because Manny and I used to cover box office numbers every Monday, and for a long time sitting there being like, man, things just don't look good. Things are not boding well for theaters, for studios. People don't always know how much money the theaters or how much money the movies feed other projects in some of these big multi-layered companies like Disney. Their big pool of money from movies and merch and the parks helps fuel smaller aspects and helps fuel niche projects and things like that. So there's a massive effect that comes with not just not going to theaters, but also not purchasing the content. So buying digital or buying a physical copy. Unfortunately, things like WandaVision have no physical copies, which infuriates me, but because they can change it whenever they want, and you can never get the original back.
Mhm.
So if you don't support it that way, then you how are they supposed to make money?
Yeah.
Pennies from subscriptions doesn't do anything. So, but man, Manny, dude, it finally happened. Not only did a movie break $100 million on opening weekend, but Spider-Man: No Way Home smashed into the $257 million opening weekend, and globally crossed $1 billion this weekend. How do you feel about that, man?
It kind of tells you that maybe that theaters are not as popular as maybe as they used to be. That's a trend that we were already seeing beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
think, and you and I said it a million times already, that it was the pandemic just sped it up.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic sped
That's all
up
it did.
curbside pickup, sped up Amazon, kind of taking over a little bit more. It's unfortunate and tragic that this is the case, that we're in this situation, but that's the direction we were headed to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with streaming services coming, they were coming anyway, and there were things like this were going to happen, and maybe studios are going to be a little bit more gun shy about pulling triggers. But we've also seen that they're also not. I've heard a couple of people already mention, it's like, all right, so when are movies going to stop saying exclusively in theaters or only in theaters? Like, just say the movie's going to be in theaters, but that we live in a world where, like, The Matrix Resurrection was released also on HBO Max, and maybe that has to do with its numbers, and maybe also because it's just a terrible movie. But yeah, you bring out a movie like Spider-Man that everybody loves, everybody's going to go to the theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things about it, and I know Christine and I used to go see all sorts of things: comedies, family movies, dramas, horrors, and of course, big, franchise tentpole films. But that slowly died with the comedies, unless it was family, and then it kind of died with the dramas, unless it was maybe like a real, big director like a Nolan or something that we just
Mhm.
had to go see. Until finally, where it's like family movies, and the franchise films, and maybe he every now and then, when we used to have a babysitter, that before the pandemic, go see a horror or a grown up comedy, but those were rarer,
Mhm.
um but regardless, the big franchises were helping keep the theaters themselves uh, going. And you look at comments from like Martin Scorsese and others about how Marvel is not cinema, it's not this, not that. You can kind of get why they're angry, but to be fair, it wasn't just Marvel, and it wasn't just uh, uh, DCC. It was Twilight. It was Hunger Games. It was Harry Potter.
Lot of big stuff.
Yeah, but $1 billion is a massive deal, and over the weekend it took a 69% drop, which that kind of looks a lot like what we saw with your Shang-Chi's, your Black Widows, where it was kind of in that 65 to 70 range. It's not an outlier like Free Guy, and I think what was that other Ghostbusters Afterlife had a really good second week drop of like 47-48%. It means it was pretty much heavily front loaded, like traditionally we saw. But man, 69, I almost expected it to actually have a better drop. What
Mm.
what do you think? Because I felt like there was probably people kind of still holding back. If we make 250 during this pandemic, wouldn't it have probably pushed 300? opening weekend and without COVID?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I guess I don't really have a head for numbers for these because I don't really pay attention to them. But I mean, it's done so well, considering what's been going on in the world. So for me, I'm not upset with the drop because I mean, it's been out for a little bit. A lot of people just rushed in to see it. They even had um, like price gouging on some tickets too in certain areas. So
Now, Manny, it did have a little competition from Matrix Resurrections, which brought in 12 million across 3,500 theaters, but Sing 2 also released, bringing in 23.7 million at 3,800 theaters. What do you think about that? Is this a one and done for the average moviegoer, or like is what you're seeing just the repeat viewers? Do you think it was that front loaded?
So the thing about it is that you're looking at a film that on its first day on Friday the 17th did 121
Mm-hmm.
million, and so I think a 70% drop off about, yeah, it looks rough, but
Oh no, it looks par for course this year, but
that many
yeah.
people are not going to go watch a movie on a second week.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, most movies we were excited that they were even able to break that
Oh yeah.
plane. And so I mean you're looking at an average of the second week somewhere in the 30s, 30 million, kind of almost consistently, which meant that almost people were watching it again, and some people were waiting for Christmas. And I know that a lot of people, since early on in the fall, they said, yeah, I will be back in the theaters for Spider-Man was the talk of, especially once that trailer hit and Doc Ock was revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was, it was very, very highly anticipated. And I don't even think Multiverse of Madness is going to even get close to reaching that either. It's just,
Probably not.
and that's going to be real interesting to see when that hits. But I'm going to tell you one thing. We have a variety of Regals here in our area. We visited two in the last couple of weeks. Uh, it was almost eerie to see the theater filled, and it brought me so
yeah.
much joy. Just because our,
Mm-hmm.
especially Edwards, what's River Park now is just called Regal, whatever. It has a variety of different areas with couches, and I mean it's just very, very well done and remodeled. And this weekend it was packed. I mean, lines all the way almost to the door for concessions. You had the
Wow.
bar going. You had all these. The arcade was just filled with people. I mean, it was pre-pandemic fun. Just look. I mean, just I was like, wow. It was so nice to see that everyone going to the movies. And I think what got me most is that we went, two of the movies that we saw yesterday, Licorice Pizza and Nightmare Alley. The theater had a good amount of people in it. It's not like everybody was just watching a specific movie. It looked like everyone was out in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's cool.
what, to your point about people complaining about movies like Spider-Man and things like that, it almost becomes like comic books. Um, if DC and Marvel don't do well in comics, your indie comics will not do well. You
Mhm.
need these movies to bring in the people to the theater, because of what's going to happen in theaters. And in theaters, you see movie posters. You're going to watch a variety of trailers for other films and maybe you've never even heard of. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have that issue because we're in the
Mm-hmm.
entertainment business and that in that world. So we've watched trailers a billion times before we even get to a theater. A lot of these people don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, some people
Mm-hmm.
are working, multiple jobs and they've got stuff to do, so they don't put in a lot of time for that. So like when they put in the time to go see a movie, then it's like, oh, this is coming out. I should, make time for that too.
Right.
Um,
Exactly. So you'll see another movie where Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be in, or Tom Holland, like for example Uncharted, that you're
Mm-hmm.
so excited that you just saw him. Then you're like, you know what, I'm going to go. Oh, it's Mark Wahlberg also in it. And now because you went to the theater, now you know about Uncharted. Now even if it's not necessarily a good movie, you're going to go watch it. That's just what it does. It creates a buzz, it creates anticipation. the hope is, with this many people going to watch, my hope is this many people want to go watch Spider-Man. I would hope that because of that, they go to the theaters and watch at least one other movie.
Right. It reminds them of how much fun it was.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's what I was hoping that this would do.
Give a boost.
Kind of reinvigorate. Oh yeah, this did used to be fun, you know?
Especially like with a crowded theater, because I remember when we saw Spider-Man No Way Home, it was weird. Someone was sitting next to me, and it's like I haven't had that in forever. Like what? Okay. But even though it wasn't like, I mean, I liked parts of the movie, but it was still like great to be in that crowd and seeing all the people just loving it. It's kind of like it's not watching it by yourself. It's being a little more social.
Mhm.
And so it was fun just to be in their reactions, that most people around me liked it more than I did, and I enjoyed them enjoying it.
That's
So
kind of what I had hoped to have gotten out of Ghostbusters Afterlife, but I didn't, and we're not going to go over that any
yeah,
more.
let's stop
I
talking about
promise.
that.
I did want to. I've been doing it on the screen, as everyone that's watched on the LRM YouTube channel. Thank you for doing that. Has noticed. I went back and started looking at movies from like a few years ago, like in 2006. Seeing the third X-Men movie got a 67% drop, but that was hugely hated. Da Vinci Code in 06, 56%. Pirates of Caribbean, same year, 54%. Let's see. In 2012, Dark Knight had 61. Skyfall had 53. Avengers had 50. And then getting to 2018, pre-pandemic, Incredibles 2, 56. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom 59, and then Black Panther had 45. That was a major outlier in a great way, 55%. So you can see how things have kind of been in that 50s range for quite some time, and then you get to the post-pandemic era, and we start seeing these 67 for Fast 9, and then Black Widow had 68. Venom Let There Be Carnage, I think that may have been an outlier that did decent. That's 65, and then Shang-Chi with 54. And like I said, Afterlife had in the high 40s. Free Guy did a really great, like 30 some odd percent, but it was of like a 20 million opening to begin with.
Mhm.
So the thing is Spider-Man had a great weekend, but Manny, it kind of fell into that trend that you and I kind of noticed. Things are very, very heavily front loaded. The people that want to go to theaters are going, and that trend has been, and you and I look back even further months ago, back when 40% used to be the norm, like in the early 2000s, late 90s. I hope it reinvigorates people. What's next coming out? Or did you have something, Manny, on that? What I was saying?
Oh yeah. The other thing is, when was the last time we had this kind of variety on a weekend?
Yeah.
People, I mean, this weekend we had, for as far as new films, you Sing 2, Matrix Resurrections, The Kingsman, and American Underdog, as well as a couple of other indie films, and things that were already in theaters, like Spider-Man, West Side Story, Licorice Pizza, Encanto, Nightmare Alley.
Yep.
I know Ghostbusters is still playing, and House of Gucci.
Yep.
I mean, it's no long. It's not. It's one of these weekends where you're not just stuck with one film.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody there, and I think that's also why, another reason why probably theaters were a little bit more filled, was because you can go watch whatever you wanted, instead of just Eternals or just Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I mean, just Sing 2, for example, 23 million. That's pretty good. I mean, when Candyman did, I think 24, 25 million, they were through the roof, because
overperforming.
because they felt like they
things like that.
overperformed. It sucks for a movie like Kingsman, only about 6 million, but I mean, there wasn't much flair there. Same thing with
No, I didn't really want to go back. I like the idea of some of the characters in it, but I was just like, can we just finish up Eggsy's story? You know,
Mm,
Eggsy's story.
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and as far as your next question as to what's next, the Batman's coming up.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
then also there is well, I don't know if you how much you want to call it, but Scream uh on in a couple of weeks will be out, which maybe it's gonna do kind of Candyman numbers, I think, but just because of kind of nostalgia. And then of course Multiverse of Madness, but those are, I think, the two big ones are they're comic book movies, obviously, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, we are going to take a quick word from our sponsor, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Batman when we come back. So, Grow Generation, take it away.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. For all of your cultivation needs, Grow Generation has the right products, service and staff to make your grow successful. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
All right, thank you guys for sponsoring us so much. Grow Generation, thank you so much for sponsoring us, Grow Generation. That makes more sense as I'm trying to write something that I'm not saying, and my brain is very slow with doing that. So the Batman, couple of news items about this widely anticipated movie. I know I'm a fan of the way it looks and what they're doing. Manny, you've been pretty hyped about the Batman since seeing it. Have you not?
Oh yeah,
Seeing
absolutely.
the trailer. So I brought it up from comicbook.com. I think they cite someone else, but that's the article that I brought up. The Warner Media CEO confirmed that the Batman will be on a HBO Max. It was via Vox's recode. There you go. Killar confirmed the Batman will be available to stream on HBO Max on day 46 of the theater exclusive window. So it sounds like they'll do one of those things like Disney was doing, where it was both, in both, but they're going to they're going to basically continue to do what they were doing, except instead of 30 days on HBO Max day and date, it's a 45-day theater exclusive, and then it hits a HBO Max. I mean, that's good. And I think Spider-Man No Way Home's drop kind of proves that most people are going to go see the movie, see a little bit of repeats, a little bit of people that were waiting on the second the big rush to die down. But I don't think movies can last 3-4 months in theaters anymore. But I do think this will hurt home videos, like, and not just physical, but where you purchase either a digital copy or a physical copy, which again will hurt the bottom line a bit. What do you think about this 45-day window for the Batman, man?
Yeah,
Manny?
given the numbers and everything we've seen, I agree with you. Movies are not you're not doing really much business after 45 days anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It does sound sketchy at times, but at the same, if you're gonna use like the Batman, I'm glad that they're not doing a same day release anymore. I'm
Yeah.
glad that that's only for 2021 films and not 2022 and ahead, because a film like the Batman is going to do well. It's going to do fine. Batman and Spider-Man, you can always count on them, which is why they have a billion comic books, and then only 20% of them are any good. And that's why there's like what 3 or 4 Batman right now that are going to be flying around in the DCEU. So I'm it's good. It's fine. I'm just happy that we're not doing a same day release, because I do think that if you theaters are a privilege, and an experience that filmmakers hope you see the theaters in, hope you see the films in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shots that are filmed specifically for you to enjoy on a big screen. and I know that through 2020 especially, there was a lot of filmmakers who were like, you know what, the only thing that sucks about our film is that people aren't going to be able to enjoy it on the big screen because this reason, and this reason. So go out and have experiences like you did these past 2 weeks with Spider-Man and whatever else you saw, because it's fun. And yes, I get it. Things are a little bit more difficult right now.
Yeah.
Probably less babysitters. Probably got to work
Less money.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So it is tough. That I mean, I'm privileged enough where I can afford to have a membership with Regal and go as much as I want a month. But that's something we budget. That's something that we choose that is important for us. Just because that's what we like to do. So, and also it doesn't hurt that it helps being able to come on here and talk about movies and things like that. And so, I'm glad that they made that decision. And I would I'm thinking that's probably going to become the norm, where it's a short release and then let the film help your streaming service.
Yeah, I'm scared of there starting to be a lack of physical release. Like, I've known the death of physicals coming, but I'm also afraid of the lack of even digital purchases. Like, eventually the idea, it's so scary to think that we are literally one purchase, one contract, or one court agreement away from losing access to legal access. I know there's piracy, and I don't break the law, but we are literally at any given moment for any project that is one of these streaming exclusives that hasn't been released on physical media, one moment from losing it.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
I mean,
because I mean, there's been times where it's like there's like been an older movie that I've searched for, like I want to watch it. Where can I find it? So it's like, how is that going to be in the future? This time that we're in right now is so very disposable. As well. So, a lot of things factor in, and I don't know what, like what movies and TV shows are going to be like, because it's like, there's going to be a time when you're going to be in the mood for something to watch, in a couple years, and where can you find it? Are they going to do like the like how Disney did, where you take it in and out of the vault and you just have to wait and like write it down, like, okay, I need to keep an eye out for this because I've been in the mood to watch it, and hope that they put it back on a streaming service, because you can't find it anywhere, so.
Yeah, not everything's getting a chance to be transferred over from either VHS or film itself over to a digital format, HD format, DVDs, Blu-rays. I mean, it's kind of scary. But sticking with some Batman news, Warner Brothers has some spin-off stuff going on, and some a Batgirl series that's going to be coming out. And guess what? Michael Keaton's going to be a part of it. What do you think about that, Christine?
Now I'm interested.
Now you're interested. Is Keaton your Batman?
Yes.
He's my Batman.
He is the sprinkles on a Sunday. That it's like, that was like one of the things when it's like, when I found out he was the Vulture, it's like, okay, then yeah, I'm cool with this.
She was not down with Malkovich, which I stand by. If we had to see a Sony original styles Spider-Man Vulture, Malkovich was a great choice. But yeah, Keaton kills it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So to me, it's like seeing his name on the screen. It's like, all right, I'm in. I'll watch it. I'll give it a chance. So,
Manny, what do you think about more Keaton, dude, sticking around with the fucking I don't know how much he'll be in the suit for it, but sticking around in the Batcave maybe.
Well, the thing is, Keaton's my Batman. Batman Returns was my first Batman film. Batman Returns
Wow.
is one of my top Christmas movies. So yeah, if you
More
give me
Christmas
more,
than Die Hard, absolutely.
yeah, oh
We're
yeah.
on this again. Yeah, but yes,
Where
true.
does what does the movie end with?
What was that? What, Die Hard or
No,
Batman Returns?
Batman Returns.
Oh,
It ends with
what's her name
with
looking
the
up at the
Christmas
moon?
shot. Yeah, but yeah, but with a Christmas shot,
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, and then the whole thing. It's
Mhm.
he's it starts with the whole
Family,
raid on Christmas,
orphan. Yeah. It's
yeah,
through
and
through and through, man.
decorations and
100%.
everything.
100%. It's not just a
So
background.
Santa
Christmas is
Claus,
part of it. It's
yeah,
not
Santa
just the
Claus.
background.
Afraid not. I'm just a poor schmo who got lucky. And sue me if I want to give something back. Max Schreck does not get he doesn't get enough credit, man.
No.
They need to bring him back in comics or something because he did so well. But I mean that's just Christopher Walken. That's more cowbell. That's
I know.
I got a fever. And
Oh my
Eddie,
God.
so what's cool about that Batgirl series that it's not only Michael Keaton, but J.K. Simmons is returning as
Mhm.
Commissioner Gordon, which I enjoyed in Justice League, and I don't feel like we got enough. So I'm just wondering. I mean, because multiverse, whatever, you can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
And
Fuck it.
so if this is part of that universe, then I'm good. Just give me a good story and
Mhm.
give me good characters. And I think Leslie Grace is awesome. I've had a chance to talk to her before because she was in The Heights. She's one of the leads in The Heights. So I think it's going to be a good project. It's currently filming in London. And what else? I mean, what else do we want right now? As far as comic book oriented shows, as far as DC, Marvel, we're getting everything. Heck,
Mhm.
we got Kate Bishop, we got Kingpin
Mhm.
back,
Mhm.
we got 3 Spider-Man for a minute. I mean, we almost had the Sinister Six, except we had 5. One of them was at
That
a
was
bar.
kind of annoying.
If you want to count Venom,
Yeah.
you're kind of chilling somewhere. But it's great. It's what I really want, and I think everybody wants. The one thing we're not getting is Michael Keaton as old Batman, but for a Batman Beyond. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
maybe this is kind of something that could lead to that, where it's like, let's see how an older Batman plays in this HBO world with Leslie Grace and Batgirl. And then we could take it a step further and introduce Terry McGinnis, because it is an unexplored market that needs to be part of the franchise that we need. Heck, we
It
just
is.
need a new animated series with them.
Yeah, Batman Beyond has been one of those I know a lot of people have been clamoring for, asking about it and wanting, hey, now you've got, Keaton. He's been old enough for a while, starting to get where he might be too old to do much, than be the guy at the chair, guy in the chair. Oh man, so I'm excited about it. I think it's cool to see him, because Keaton always comes off. I don't know how he is in real life, but he always comes off real authentic with his characters. Like, he gets into the character. He doesn't seem to just be phoning things in. Even if he does, he's phoning it in really well. Much better than Bill Murray did in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Anyways, yeah, I didn't care for it. Any what else, man? Manny, any other big stories you wanted to talk about, man? Or are we ready to wrap it up?
I think that's it for now. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and bash Hawkeye. So
Did you not like it as much?
like the first half was great, and
Mm-hmm.
then I just felt that the finale was really lazy and kind of it felt phoned in. Even
Yeah.
the action was kind of boring. They were shooting arrows and things were exploding, which is fine, but there was okay, so like you're just shooting goons and stuff. And while I loved the return of Kingpin, it didn't really they introduced him so late that it didn't have any
It
real
was
weight
jarring.
to it.
It kind of like shook me up a bit, because I was already expecting a variant Kingpin, not
Mhm.
Netflix Daredevil Kingpin, but I was not expecting what we got.
Yeah, you know, it was a little too different for you to just say, "Oh, here he is." And I was like, "Okay." And I love Yelena, I love Florence
Yeah,
Pugh, but that dynamic between Kate and Yelena was great.
was great.
But what it like if she
Her
was
motivation was
her
stupid.
motivation was so skewed because it's like if you're the Yelena that we were introduced to back in Black Widow,
You wouldn't just be buying
yeah, you
this
wouldn't
and
just
wouldn't be
be
here.
hanging out. It was so Disneyed that it really lost weight to. You knew that she was never going to kill him. There was never a threat to it, and thus like the whole thing was just kind of lame, to be honest. The
Yeah.
characters were great. I
Mhm.
loved
Yeah,
the characters individually. Just the plot didn't work.
yeah. I was just kind of like, she's so smarter than this. We needed a scene with her and Val where Val is showing some sort of doctored evidence of Clint being you know, this was secretly recorded from the Guardians of the Galaxy's ship that they use, and it's doctored because otherwise I don't. She knows her sister was willing to sacrifice herself during the Red Room incident. So what?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Her sister would be willing to sacrifice herself for the whole fucking world, let alone just a handful of girls. And I know it's more than just a handful, but relatively speaking.
Mhm.
So that was my biggest issue with that. I was just like, I'm fine with her having been hired and been like, hey, it's just a job. My sister's gone anyways, but you should know that some bitch is lying and saying that you know, killed her. I'd buy that more.
Yeah,
more.
where she like tries to kick his ass just to be like, I don't know, this is kind of like for her, this is
yeah,
cool, and
it
then
just
just like, you know, and
I love
then try
having
to
her.
talk.
I
But
love
instead
having
of,
her there, but I think
yeah,
it kind of did her character disservice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It just there was no danger to. I never felt any danger to Hawkeye at all. And then it was just like,
hmm
hey, my bad, your sister was actually cool. And then he whistled, and he's like, how did you know that? It's like,
well,
Like,
Why did you say
yeah,
that name?
well,
Why did you
yeah,
whistle that?
it's the same thing as Martha. And I just I guess what I really want is just a little from, especially from Marvel fans in general. Obviously, you guys are not the problem here because you guys are very objective. Even for some of your favorite franchises, if you don't like it, you say it. Hell, Kyle and Afterlife. We're not go there, but I mean,
Star Wars.
but you can, yeah. So you guys can give honest opinions. I
hmm
just really wish that Marvel fans would be a little bit more honest with themselves, because every time a new project comes out, it's the best one so far. That's always, this is the best thing so far. This is
Nick.
this is the best thing, and it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's fine, and maybe some of the characters are great, but stop lying to yourselves.
Yeah.
Thinking that, you know, the two things that Marvel had this year that were great were Shang-Chi and Spider-Man, because Black Widow was mediocre at best. Yes, it introduced a fine character, and well, I mean, not TV show. Well, I guess Loki was good, so I'm not gonna bash Loki.
yeah,
And because I think what Loki had was weight. That's something that none of these other shows had. Which at the end of Loki, you realize, oh, this crap's about to go down. Multiverse of Madness and Krang and blah blah blah. Something you never expected from the Disney show.
I'd love to see Krang, but
Not Krang. Sorry,
Kang.
Krang. Oh no, that's
Turtles.
that's Turtles. Which they did. They tried.
They did them, but we don't fuck Michael Bay's turtles.
Yeah, like
Michael, go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because I was gonna say, like, I also enjoyed WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but yeah, like with Hawkeye, it was like it had, you know, some good moments, but then yeah, there's some failures, but it was still like it still had a passing grade, but like it just passed. It was like satisfactory. It wasn't like, you know, anything super special, but I did enjoy it.
They had something. I love Kate
Yeah.
Bishop. I think
Oh, yeah.
Haley Steinfeld did a great job. The LARPers, a lot of the supporting crew and cast were
was a lot of
great.
fun. Yeah.
But there was just some big mistakes. But you guys can hear more about that on the Genreverse podcast network, wherever you get your podcast from, like Spotify. It's the show for all the Marvel stuff is Marvel Multiverse Mayhem. We also have our Star Wars news and reviews show, the Cantina. We will be picking up Cantina reviews this week, where we'll be watching the Book of Boba Fett. Usually that comes out on Fridays, but I'm
Are they doing
gonna
that
try
Wednesdays again?
yeah, releasing on Wednesdays. Our show usually comes out on Fridays, but I'm going to try to convince Cam to see if we can't get that to you guys on Thursdays and move Marvel Multiverse Mayhem to another day because there's no shows right now. We're just watching movies. Breaking Geek, Radio the Podcast, Daily Cup of Genre, Anime Versal reviews. We just wrapped up Miyako-chan, which is a great horror slice of life. Definitely check that out. All of that is available on the LRM YouTube channel, which is not loaded for some reason. There we go. As well as a lot of all of our interviews from our interview team, including Manny and Gig and Nancy. Nancy does some Spanish exclusive interviews, red carpet, Zoom in-person round tables, all of that. Manny, do you want to plug a few interviews we got going on right now?
Actually, we're kind of on, just like the studios, we're kind of on a little bit of a break right now.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff we have planned is actually for next week and beyond. And so the other thing is I'm gonna plug, because all three of us are gonna be a little bit busier, is the return of the No Mercy podcast coming soon with the release of the next season of Cobra Kai, which is gonna be so much fun, because Jolo is gonna be also Blue Beetle. So
Yep.
that's gonna be,
could have been a Zorro too, but
he would be, man. Like, I don't understand why we can't get this. Antonio Banderas is the right age, and we have like a Xolo. Hell, I'll even take a Balderrama to do it. Whatever.
Welcome to Cobra Kai. This
Give me that dynamic.
sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I started playing something that made noise. We got scared.
Well,
I was showing people the No Mercy podcast, and it accidentally started playing the video.
Oh no. So yeah, but 2022 will be definitely a busier year, as because of the fact that I now have my daytimes clear. So fitting in more junkets, fitting in more interviews, whatever I can do from here will be great. And then we have Nancy and Gig who do their thing, like you said, on the red carpets, at premieres and such. Heck, they just did the big event for 1887, the Yellowstone prequel for Paramount. Yep. So expect a lot more of that.
1888.
What? I'm not sure what I do. Sorry, it's too early.
It's all right, guys. You guys can find all of that, of course, at lrmonline.com and genreverse.com. Keep an eye out for Genreverse's YouTube channel starting in the near future. And yeah, all of our social media information is down below. Manny, where's your Twitter at, and Instagram if you want, or whatever?
Oh, you can find me at LRM_Emmanuel on Twitter, and you can find me at riddlemethiss_510 on Instagram.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening today, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.